combat night. If someone were to ask me 8 years ago what that meant, I would have told you that it meant a paycheck. Being able to train full-time with my buddy Josh Samman without having to worry about getting a real job. Our first event was in 2012. Since then, we've done 113 events, providing hundreds of opportunities to the regional scene here in Florida, helping guys realize their dream.
Combat Night was my way to give back to the youth that are starting out in mixed martial arts. It's their opportunity to fight at the beginning levels and try to make it all the way to the UFC.
Fighters trying to help other fighters. That's Combat Night in a nutshell.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Mr. Mitchell Chamale.
Guys, real quick, for those of you that don't know, my co-founder, Josh Samman, passed away roughly 3 years ago, and we've started a foundation in his honor. So guys, just by buying a ticket, you've helped donate.
My name is Josh Samman. I fight out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Tallahassee was a small place, and he owned Tallahassee. You know, that was just a college town where we used to party a lot together, and we'd train a lot together.
He had some crazy workouts. He was a maniac in the room.
And we'd go in there and help him with his fights, you know. He'd be beating the crap out of all of us.
Outside of the ring, you know, he was just a normal human being. He was just a kid from Tallahassee.
You know, he's always put his fans first, always super nice to people, would go out of his way to help people out.
He was a really good writer, and that was something he was very passionate about. There's not a lot of guys that could articulate the process the way that Josh did.
His name was Joshua Caleb, and Caleb means fierce one. He was always fierce in whatever he did, and in writing or MMA or training or music.
I'm trying to remember just where it all began, just when I let you into my life again. I need love.
Come on, you animal. I got more than that. You got more than that?
I got more than that. I got more than that.
I came up there and started training. You know, it completely changed my life. He wanted you to succeed. He wanted you to get better. And he wanted us to live up to our potential.
The same thing with music. He pushed me all the time. Hey, I need you to learn these chords by tonight.
He was a leader. He knew what he wanted. And from day one, we all knew that Josh was going to be in the UFC.
On this season of The Ultimate Fighter.
He's promising. I mean, he's a guy that could win this whole competition.
Josh had a technique called the Samman double fist. It just rattle your brain.
He was an animal. You try to look for the finish.
I think Josh is for real.
The kind of guy everyone wants to watch and everyone wants to fight like.
When Josh came back from The Ultimate Fighter, I was just so proud of him and what he had done. To me, I wanted to be a part of it.
Round of applause for our MC, Mr. Troy.
Troy was the ring announcer for Combat Night. Eventually became a roommate of Josh's. He moved down to South Florida.
I think there were pre-existing concerns about them living together and how much partying they would do.
Josh partied to the point that I thought it was a dependency. He's always struggled. He's struggled with it his entire life.
Overdosed at 11, which is surprising.
You know, he went from smoking cigarettes to smoking weed, and then they started painkillers. He was trying to manipulate me into letting him do whatever he wanted. So I called 911 and sent his ass to the behavioral health center. And yes, he could be an asshole at times, but he also was very caring, and I really credit Haley. She helped him learn how to love.
I knew Haley from church. She had that Southern charm about her, and she always made you feel welcome. She genuinely made him a better person.
I'd never seen him with someone like that. I'd never seen him take someone that serious.
Haley was something that Josh was searching for. I think he was looking for some stability, and she provided that for him.
Who is this drop-dead gorgeous girl? I mean, I was just smitten. I was just in love from the moment I first saw her. I was dead set on spending the rest of my life with this girl. Finally, my life was all coming together, and I was fighting in the UFC. I had a soulmate. Everything was right. Everything was perfect. Then it all started to fall apart.
Florida state troopers are investigating a crash that killed at least one person on I-75.
Haley planned to stop by my house, driving across the state of Florida, so I urged her. I said, it's raining, it's dark. I said, why don't you just crash here tonight? She said, no, I gotta get up there. Josh is expecting me, I gotta get up there.
Hey, Haley, sorry I missed your call. Leave a message and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.
Going up there and seeing him in so much anguish, it physically looked like someone had pulled his heart out of his chest.
I mean, I always had speculated that it was her and I texting that was the cause of the accident. Whether that was the case or not, the time between the first responder on the accident and the last text that she sent me was remarkably close. I'm not sure that it could lead to any other conclusion than that.
I tried to tell him that it's not his fault, but he said, I knew she was driving, so it is my fault.
It was tough, you know. He was drinking himself to sleep and just having a really hard time with it.
Shortly after that, my mom's husband, Jeff, died, and then Sue died, Haley's mom. You know, I began relying on different substances.
That seeped out to everything. It seeped out to combat night. At some events, there would be drug use. He had to get help. He had to get something going.
Josh was at MMA Masters one day and he saw the UFC schedule and he noticed a date that said December 6th, and that was Haley's birthday.
He was not drinking anymore. He wasn't partying anymore. He was a man on fire. And it was refreshing to see Josh motivated in this way, but at the same time, it was a little alarming because I saw how much time, energy, effort he was putting into this.
I said, Josh, what happens if you don't win this fight? And he said, I'll kill myself.
Eddie Gordon plans on putting on a show tonight as he fights Josh Samman.
Josh Samman very, very fired up for this fight. One of the toughest tests of his career. The Tough 19 middleweight champion, Eddie Truck Gordon.
Fighting out of Tallahassee, Florida, Josh August Samman.
Good, here we go.
The whole thing we practiced was keeping distance, standing up.
And quickly it goes to the ground.
And I think right away, man, this is not going to be the way to win this fight.
Got taken down again, and I mean, I was freaking out.
Keep taking the ribs.
I'm telling you, this guy did it in every facet of his life. If he wanted you to do something, he willed you into doing it. And I watched him will Herb Dean into standing him up.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
There was no way he was going to lose that fight.
Josh Samman.
To see him land that head kick and to know what it meant for him, I knew all the energy he put in this fight and all the people he was doing it for.
It just melted my heart, and I was just so proud of him afterward.
Even though I wasn't fighting, you know, I felt great, man. It felt like a lot of people in that fight, you know.
One of the greatest feelings I've ever had.
I knew as long as I didn't give up and just stayed in the fight that there would be a way to succeed. And tonight was easy compared to what my family and I and my loved ones in Tallahassee have been through. This is for Haley and Sue and Jeff and my mom and everybody in Tallahassee, 850. I love you guys. You're my heart. Thank you for so much.
You know, we were celebrating and we went to the back and it was emotional in the back and he just starts crying. It was the best moment of his life.
I'm not someone who traditionally uses faith as a tool, so it kind of felt weird for me to just believe, but that was one thing she always encouraged me to do, and everybody around her was just to believe and have faith. And today would have been her 24th birthday, so I tried to do those things for her, and it all came together well.
You know, I never thought that we would get old Josh But I thought that that moment could create a new Josh. And for a while it did. He got more opportunity, more of a platform to write.
How do you feel about the release of the book?
The book has several different purposes for me, you know, and so closure was one of them to connect with people that may be going through similar life experiences. So now it's all done and I feel good about it.
He said himself that the kick wasn't enough and he needed to put it down on paper what Hayley meant to him. He wanted to immortalize her. That became his mission.
She taught me what it's like to have someone more important to me than myself. She taught me that there are consequences for our actions, every single one of them. Sometimes life lessons are merely consolation prizes at having to learn things the hard way. If I can bestow that knowledge on at least one person without them having to go through what I went through, then I'm satisfied.
Amazing how many things I learned about my son from that book. And the only feedback I had for him at that time was, Josh, you showed what a little asshole you were as a teenager, but you didn't say anything about the good things that you're doing now. And he said, Mom, that's not for me to tell people, it's for me to show people.
It was a whole new Josh. If we were doing something for their family or he wanted to be there. Felt like everything was great. And then after the book was done, it just kind of all fell apart again.
He completely lost his sense of purpose.
Whenever he had the Eddie Gordon fight, he had purpose. He had to win that fight, and he stayed clean for all of it.
You know, Josh used MMA as a tool for sobriety. And it worked really well until it didn't.
He'd have a fight in 4 weeks, and he'd be getting drunk. I had some of his coaches tell me, Josh isn't coming to training, and I would hit him up, hey man, what's up? Oh no, I've been fucking training, just not with them. I took it hook, line, and sinker, I believed him.
Once he got into camp for the Tim Boach fight, I noticed that he was using cocaine.
The Josh I had known for 7 or 8 pro fights prior to that didn't do that.
Samman is mounted, he is covered up, he's in trouble. Brutal shot there from Boach.
The fights weren't enough anymore.
The Barbarian raining down shots. Josh Samman, so tough, does not want to tap out, but he's eating a lot of right hands, and that's gonna do it. Josh Samman just seemed a little bit too emotional, and Boach was just relentless.
After the Boach fight, I started to see a big change in his personality. You know, Xanax, he said he would eat like Skittles. He'd wake up, he'd have a Xanax. He'd go train. A little later in the day, drink a bottle of wine, take some more Xanax. And then he would go through his cocaine until things got kind of out of control.
You know, the drug use, the party use, you know, it was just fun. I thought he was okay. I thought he was in control of things.
I get Facebook messages to Josh, not from Josh, to Josh. So I call him and he said, I made you my legacy account holder. I go, what's that supposed to mean? He's like, just in case anything ever happens to me, you know, you can post when I'm gone. And I was like, nah, there's something else happening. And he sat there quiet for a moment and then he
said he got this bag of heroin. And he's like, oh, what should I do with it? And he said he got it by accident. And I was like, oh, just fucking throw it out. Let's go out. Come on, we're going.
That wasn't by accident. It was another moment of silence. And he said, I wanted to know what Hayley felt. What people didn't know about Hayley is that she had her own heroin problem.
I got a call from Troy's girlfriend who flew into town. Troy's supposed to be at work and Josh was supposed to pick her up from the airport, but he never showed up to the airport. So I called Hunter.
So I went to Josh's house. All the cars were there. Lights were on. It was strange. Josh's door was locked.
That Josh's room had a deadbolt on the inside, but it didn't have a keyhole. So the only way you could lock that door is if you were inside the room.
I called the locksmith, and then I started looking around, and I was able to find a window that I could get in, and I climbed through the window. I saw Josh lying down on the bed. You could tell he was breathing. He was a big dude, and he was breathing heavy. You know, you could see his chest rising up and down, and then in between the bed and the dresser was Troy. You know, I was in a panic. But I think there were like baggies and needles out and shit. Immediately called 911, telling me to give Troy mouth-to-mouth. Rigor mortis had already set in, so I was like trying to move his legs to get past him, give him mouth-to-mouth, and not long after that, paramedic showed up. And then the paramedic was like, oh, Josh will be fine. You know, we hit him with 2 things of Narcan, he'll wake up.
The disbelief to shoot something up was just like, it wasn't Josh. That was not Josh whatsoever.
You know, never in a million years you would have thought it would have been taken to that.
Hunter told me that Josh was still alive and that they had taken him to the hospital. To see someone like that, after you've known them to be, you know, this strong dude, to see them hooked up to all these machines and on life support, you know, there's not a worse feeling.
I'm still being told that he's gonna come out of this. I latched onto the hope. Said, all right, there's hope.
I mean, we always thought Josh would wake up. I mean, at least I did.
I saw Josh in a coma for 6 days. I felt his spirit just wanting to go home and see Haley Kate. And so when he finally left, I was like, he's at peace now.
I don't even remember if I said bye, because he was gone. It fucking hurts. He had a lot more to do.
His ashes are here, but we saved some, and the Beavises and I buried him with Haley.
I did grief counseling after. I don't feel that I got much out of it. I just mostly stayed to myself in my apartment for a while and had my own medication.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming that you have to keep it boxed up and only let it out a little bit at a time. And that's basically what I did for 2 years.
If I can get anything out of it, reach out for help sometimes, no matter how bad you don't want to show that you're hurting. I know everybody's got problems, and it's good to talk about them. I wish we could have talked more.
When do we start learning from this? That starts with our kids. It starts with Caden, Isla. I want my son to grow up and be like his Uncle Josh. I want him to be able to achieve anything he sets his mind to. It starts with us showing him that you can have an addiction and you can be a great person. I'm not hiding the things that he did. Caden's gonna know.
I want to figure out a way that we can make something good out of this. And if you can't find good, you make good. And so that's when I started talking with them about starting the foundation.
For those of you that don't know, my co-founder, Josh Samman, passed away roughly 3 years ago. And we've started a foundation in his honor. And what we do with the Samman Foundation is we actually give scholarships to young athletes that want to follow the dream of MMA.
Go try to get a loan to pursue your MMA dream. It's not happening. There's not a lot of scholarships for people who have different paths in life.
We've helped guys like Mike Perry, girls like Felicia Spencer.
It builds Josh's legacy, and he gets to still play a role in these people's journeys.
Like Roman Feraldo getting an award today.
You know, I never had any idea it would continue and continue.
Along with that ripple effect of tragedy, there's ripple effects of beauty.
The one thing about Josh is that he brought people together, people from all walks of life.
He always kept us all close.
We were all in competition to make him proud, to live up to our best abilities.
To be our greatest self is what I think our calling is. All of us have different paths to greatness, whether that is through fighting or parenthood or filmmaking. Somebody else's may be music. Owning a gym and making a difference in young kids' lives, or whatever the situation is. You know, we all have to find that one path and we have to go for it with no fear, just go, go, go.
You know, I got to dedicate this to Josh because, I mean, if it wasn't for him, none of this would be here. It's as simple as that. He started this. This was his baby, and you know, to see where it's at now, I'm just excited to be a part of it and to help it grow and expand.
You know, Josh was a storyteller. He was one of the best storytellers. Josh was not scared to tell the truth. I think this is what he would want. What we're doing is we're continuing the story that he would be wanting to tell.
I love the guy. He's one of my best friends, for sure.
Probably the most unique human being I'll ever meet in my life.
Josh was bigger than life. He gave the best bear hugs. He had a wicked laugh. There were so many sides to him, and I'm so thankful that he explored those and he shared those with people, and he was my baby.
That's pretty much it, man. It's been a crazy road, crazy ride. One more fight. At this point, it's just about getting my story out, whether it's good or bad, having people learn from the things that I've been through, and then hopefully can help them through any sort of struggles or tribulations that they may have in their life.